Virginia Conservation Police, and all other state and federal law enforcement agencies serving locally are comprised of the finest officers, supervisors, administrative, and support staff that can be found. Now, therefore, we, the Rockbridge County Board of Supervisors, call on all citizens of Rockbridge County to observe the week of May 11th through May 17th as Police Week, during which all our residents may join in commemorating law enforcement officers, past and present, who by their faithful and loyal devotion to their responsibilities have rendered a dedicated service to their community, and in doing so have established for themselves an enviable and enduring reputation for preserving the rights and security of all citizens. And we urge all citizens to take time to thank those in law enforcement for important service they provide to all of us. We further call upon all citizens of Rockbridge County to observe Wednesday, May 15th as Peace Officers Memorial Day in honor of those law enforcement officers who, through their courageous deeds, have made the ultimate sacrifice to their community and have become disabled in the performance of duty. And let us remember and pay respect to the survivors of our fallen heroes and cause flags to be flown at half-mast in remembrance. Adopted this 12th day of May, 2025. And I move to approve.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Day?
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Aye.
And I vote yes. Thank you.
And I did ask Sheriff McFadden to spread the word a little bit, and clearly he did. So if there's
Could all of the officers please stand? Show us who you are. Thank you. Thank you all.
of course, we got the sheriff's office, we got Buena Vista Chief, we've got Jim Jones, the state parks. We got a pretty good contingent of the the jail here too. Am I missing anybody? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see you back here, but just want to recognize everyone. And we'll make sure that everybody gets a copy of this as well after it's signed and executed. Thank you all very much for what you do.
Thank you for your service.
And folks, apparently we had a snafu on here, probably something that I caused earlier, but apparently it was just showing me on here, but my camera's off. So hopefully we are good now. And I think we had a little audio problem. So anyone watching this now, the first thing on the agenda after the invocation and pledge was the National EMS Week was adopted, a resolution. And Madam Chair, I think we're good.
All right. Move on to citizen comments. We will now welcome citizen comments unrelated to the public hearings. When your name is called, please address the board at the podium stating your first and last name and magisterial district. Please limit your comments to no more than 3 minutes. There's a timer on the table for your convenience. Is there anyone signed up?
Yes, Bill Russell.
Chairman Board. Bark had mentioned, and there's been some discussion about federal budget issues and state budget issues and funding for broadband deployment in underserved areas still around the state that affects Rockbridge County pretty clearly. And in fact, at least through beginning of 2024, 13% of Virginia did not have access to broadband communications. And it remains a problem in rural areas, particularly in areas of difficult terrain, which would include a lot of Rockbridge County. And I went back and I've got some background in this area in particular, and I went back and took a look at what options may be available. And right now, on this chart that was handed out to you, being able to fill in with low Earth orbit. Right now, Starlink is offering that. I suspect Amazon is going to move to that. They're putting up a lot of satellites to make deployment available to residents in those areas. The high cost for people like BARC or Dominion to get into some of those areas is extreme. Ideally, they might be able to offer the BARC in particular a partnership arrangement with some of these other types of technologies and carriers to reach individuals that would be a lot cheaper. But Virginia General Assembly needs some input from local government that looks like it's something that would be useful to them and would be economically viable to the state. The cost of deploying the last parts of broadband access can run up to $60,000 a mile. The cost of deploying one of these links to somebody is about $500 or $600. The subsidy runs to the broadband. If the subsidy was not available from the federal funds coming to the state and lessened by the state, you're going to have a hard time finishing these deployments out there. And I think the people who are working on the deployments, BARC's doing a good job, and the others need some additional ways to get this deployment out there. I think it's fair to them to not have to absorb huge costs to do this. I personally think the subsidies are in trouble. At a minimum, they're going to be reduced, and that's going to affect your constituents out there. So I thought you might take a look at this just as educational piece. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there anyone else?
No, ma'am.
Is there anyone online? Mr. Suter.
Oh, ma'am.
All right.
Oh, wait a minute. No one with their hands raised.
County financial report, Mr. Harrison.
Yes, before you is a resolution authorizing the payment of bills and additional appropriations. The total amount of bills this period is $524,816.17. General fund appropriations include 10,000 for the county attorney, 19,978 for the treasurer, 39,941 for finance, $270 for fire and rescue, and $8,361 for the capital fund. The revenue and expense reports through April 30th are available. I got those listed on board docs today, and you have a copy yourself. The tax collection history is also there that shows year-over-year comparisons and month-over-month for sales, mills, lodging, emissions, and cigarette taxes. The year-to-date revenue is $48,312,349. Year-to-date expenses is $50,942,277. So the current deficit is $2,629,928, which is about right at this time of year. 83% of the fiscal year has passed. Year-to-date sales tax amount to $3,554,080, or 80% of the estimated budget. Mills tax amount to $2,594,457, or 77%. Year-to-date lodging taxes amount to $1,199,768, or 65% of the estimated budget. Emissions taxes at 75%, or $263,497. And cigarette taxes at $150,000, or 67% of the estimated budget. And as a reminder, myself and most of my staff and finance and IT staff will be out the rest of this week for training on the Tyler software system.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Harrison. Are there any questions or comments? Hearing none, is there a motion to adopt?
I'll move to adopt.
Thank you, Mr.
Second.
McDaniel. Mr. McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Lyons,
Yes.
Mr. Day,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis,
Aye.
and I vote yes.
Thank you.
Update on Virginia 250, Mr. Suter.
Yes, you may recall that in August of 2022, the board adopted a resolution supporting the creation of a local VA 250 committee to celebrate the 250th anniversary of Virginia's participation in American independence. Delegate Terry Austin serves as the co-chair on the governor's Virginia 250 committee at the state level and had asked all localities at that time to form local committees. As you may recall, in 2022, at that time, the county, Lexington, and Buena Vista determined to work regionally rather than separately to plan our celebrations. And since then, Supervisor Lewis and I have represented the county in meetings. He volunteered at that time to be a representative, and I've participated as well. There is a full listing of the local committee in your package. And Eric Wilson, Director of the Rockbridge Historical Society, and Cheryl Wagner, Tourism Director, are co-chairs of the Rockbridge Virginia 250, VA 250. And they've asked to provide the board with an update this evening. And we also have if I can get my technology working, we'll have a brief video as well. And with that, would you all like to say anything to start? You'll want to,
Please.
you need to speak into here. Yep.
Good evening. Thanks for having us and thanks for your precedent support of this initiative, which is both local, statewide, and certainly national in its dimensions. I am Eric Wilson. I'm the executive director of the Rockbridge Historical Society, which represents our whole region, just as my co-chair, Cheryl Wagner's Lexington Rockbridge Tourism represents our whole region. We are here in what we call Common Cause. Common Cause is a phrase that the Continental Congress used to identify the movement of the colonies to a collected republic. It's been the name of the conference that for the past 3 years has been preparing local, state, and national committees to plan for what the mouthful phrase is semi-quincentennial. Is a lot harder than bicentennial. VA 250 is easier to say. It's a nice logo, but it's not all that transparent. So what it is. So our job as a committee and Delegate Austin's job for the state is to make that transparent, is to make that, if not self-evident, as Jefferson said, evident to citizens why we should be doing this and what it is we want to do. And as Spencer said, we're in common cause with the 3 localities. This happens differently around the state. You know, you have Charlottesville has its own committee in Albemarle. It's fitting because of the way we've often done business here and the way in which our counties and cities evolved in the 1770s and since that we do that together. So we want to start with a 1-minute video. It's very nicely done and it's sleek. We did not produce this, but I think it does show that the state is willing to get behind this and to push ahead and to use its resources. And in time of budget restraints, the state is still committed to doing this. So this is the video they have on their website. Cheryl will talk about some of the other resources there.
Knock on wood, we're going to have sound here.
From the first English settlement at Jamestown to the surrender of the British at Yorktown, from give me liberty or give me death, to all men are created equal. From Washington and Jefferson to Madison and Mason, from Powhatan and Pocahontas to James Armistead Lafayette and Gowan Pamphlet, from the ideas that inspired it to the battlefields that decided it, there is simply no America without it. And no better time than now to reconnect with your country in a place that made it possible.
As I've often said, it's a very Virginia thing to say, isn't it? America made in Virginia. Our friends in Massachusetts have their version too. But you'll appreciate Rockbridge, Natural Bridge being in there. Some of you, I think, were in attendance last summer on July 5th for the 250th anniversary of Jefferson's purchase of the place that he was then a couple of years able to sort of put the thumb on naming our county after a natural feature, not a British lord, naming Lexington after a revolutionary loss at the Battle of Lexington that would turn into an American victory 3 years after the city here founded itself. So it's our job, along with Delegate Austin, who is an active supporter. He was at our bike centennial event on Sunday. He came, he was able to speak after that and talk to our citizens about why this matters. And to echo what three of the main themes have been, that we want to make sure that people consider, not just in public, but as we get to the planning and talk about the people who are actually going to do this, that we steer. And those three key themes are that this celebration, this community gathering, be inclusive and recognize America as inclusive, as evolving, and the celebrations as relevant. By inclusive, we mean not only to tell the stories of the 1770s and 1780s in a more representative way than was done in 1976 or 1876, but also to be inclusive to all the voices in our community today, to make sure people feel, whatever their affinities, their activities, their age, their faiths, that they have a seat at the table and a voice. By evolving, it's important to understand this is not entirely a fife and drum exercise. We're not all going to be living in the 1770s for the next 3 years. Evolving means that the women's suffrage movement of the early 20th century, the civil rights freedom struggle, the full 19th and 20th centuries are part of that American experiment, the movement toward those ideals, the recognitions of our limits, and the achievements and progress that we've made. It also recognizes that states like Colorado, that was founded in 1876 in the centennial, have a seat in this. And even Washington, D.C., which is neither a state nor existed at the time, obviously has its own place. Relevant in this sense means that there are areas that maybe are a little beyond what the Rockbridge Historical Society would do, that give value in how to engage these things. We have a great outdoors community here. If we can find events that bridge the outdoors, you saw in that, how many of those things were showcasing not just Virginia's beauty, but people getting out. We have a great entertainment and art scene, and we want to make sure that we can help the people who are stakeholders and expert in those areas find ways to contribute. And we certainly want young people to be involved. A lot of us here tonight can remember where we were on the bicentennial. It's a great story to ask people. Next summer, we'll be doing a program that asks, where were you on the bicentennial? And we want our high school students, our college students to not just be enjoying these things, but to help plan. So I'm teaching at the high school on Thursday, and we'll be meeting with a few student leaders who may help us advance that. As I pass this to Cheryl, I'll just target the 5 areas that our 14-person advisory committee is shaping to figure out how, from a central group, we really get ground-up support from our community to do that. And these are 5 affinity groups: are education and museums, and education will have kind of a higher ed and a K-12 track. Business and nonprofit involvement. We have a media and communications group, recreation and entertainment, and military and heritage organizations, all of which we want to see in a 3-year runway from Patriots Day, 3 weeks ago, April 19th, to January 24th, 1778, when Lexington and Rockbridge are signed into law by Patrick Henry as the governor, as new localities in the middle of a war. It was a wartime bet that we should be named not Georgetown or the next British aristocrat, that we were Rockbridge, that we were Lexington, that we are headed toward the new American Republic. And 250 years later, we continue to celebrate that and continue to grow. So Cheryl will tell you a bit more about our members and opportunities for involvement. We're grateful for your time and your support.
Thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Cheryl Wagner, I'm the Executive Director of Lexington Rockbridge Area Tourism. So our founding members, so when I was in Stanton, I was a co-chair of this. And so when I came here, Eric called me and he was like, can you can we work together on this? I was like, absolutely. It is tourism. It's history. You know history. I know how to market it, so it makes sense. So our founding members are Eric and myself, and then Spencer and Jen Bell with City of Lexington, and Christina Ramsey with Buena Vista. And so what we know is that we needed people from other areas of our community to help us with this planning. Not that we are planning events ourselves, but we want to help guide those and help promote those. So we asked a few people to be on there. So our advisory committee right now is of 14 folks, and you guys got the list, but I'd like to name those folks today. Eric Wilson with the Rockbridge Historical Society, myself with Lexington Rockbridge Area Tourism, Jen Bell with the City of Lexington, Christina Ramsey, City of Buena Vista Economic Development, Spencer Suter, Rockbridge County Administrator, Nick Betts with the City of Lexington, Mark Bryant with Military Officers Association of America, Ron Cash with Buena Vista City Council, Debbie Garrett with Virginia Arts Commission, Ann Herring with Daughters of the American Revolution, Jim Jones with Natural Bridge State Park, Jay Lewis with Rockbridge County Supervisors, Tracy Lyons with the Chamber of Commerce, and Matt Paxton with the News Gazette. So as I said, our goal is not for our committee to plan events. Our goal is to inspire those. Our meetings, we've had one meeting of the entire group so far, and it's been very inspirational. So we have ideas. We have a toolkit that we want to give to the community that says, these are some ideas to get you started. This is how you can get some funding, and we will help you along the way. So, thank you.
Well, thank you very much.
Just wrap up and give both Supervisor Lewis and Administrator Suter to say something if you like. I think it's telling that when Jim Jones was here, we had over a third of that advisory committee in this room at this time. And that's why we wanted to structure it in a way that wherever we go, we've got people that represent not just one thing, but several areas. And that's exciting. That's exciting for us. Would you like to share anything to wrap us up?
I could just say that I'm proud to be a part of it. When it first came up, Spencer has, the story where he was, and to answer your question, I was in, parade in Rockbridge Baths. They piled all the kids on a hay wagon, and wave flags, and it was good. It was the come together, support America kind of event that this hopefully will make happen again. So just as to the group is not planning, but we can certainly funnel ideas. So if any of you guys come up with anything, or as you think about where you were and what you did on the bicentennial, please let me or Spencer know. And Spencer, the only other thing, technicality, I think Delegate Austin is chair in his own. He's not a co-chair.
Yeah, I screwed that up with I conflated co-chairs here. He is the chair.
Thank you.
And the other thing too is Supervisor Lewis was one of the original members, because the night you all adopted the resolution in 2022, he raised his hand to ask for participation, and there was consensus there. So I think what Cheryl was saying, that the group she mentioned was kind of the hired group, the staff group that is doing this, with the exception of Eric.
Thank you for mentioning that. One more thing, I'd just like to say that core committee, the founding members are great. Just from what I've seen so far, I have full confidence that we will do something unique to our county's name, just as you mentioned, and with y'all's leadership. So I'm just glad to be a part of it.
Anything you'd like to add?
No,
Your
I'm
stakes,
happy-
why this matters to
I'm
you.
Happy to be a part of it. I don't want to extend this meeting further by telling stories about my knickers and colonial garb when I was 7 years old.
I've
in
heard the stories, so I can
1976.
put them in the
We'll just-
record if you like.
We'll just leave that where it is.
This is the second of our 3 visits to the local councils. We came to Lexington a week ago. We'll be at Buena Vista Thursday night. So that Common Cause is live. We'll be back along the ways, and we hope to see you at the events and field your thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you very much, both of you.
Madam Chair, may I ask a
Yep.
question?
Absolutely.
To both of you, everybody on the committee, I want to extend my thanks to. It's one glaring omission to me is nobody from the school system on there. And if you really want to rally the community, you get the kids involved. So I would highly recommend that you get somebody from the school systems on your committee to distribute and work with you.
I would say it's not an omission. It's in there. So in those first 5 areas, we've actually got 2 subcommittees for education who are going to be doing that with representatives from Rockbridge County Schools, Lexington, Buena Vista universities. We see that as very important. We work closely with superintendents of the systems. I'm glad you see that.
I just didn't see their names listed on the committee there.
Yeah, they're not on the advisory committee, and we had to cut the area short, but I can assure you that they're centrally involved and centrally valued. I'm glad they are here too.
Mr. Martino is the Rockbridge County representative, by the way, David, just for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Consideration of bright speed broadband contract. Mr. Suter.
Well, it's past 6. I think we need to
Oh,
start the
Thank you for the reminder. Yep.
for the VDOT.
Don't have to, but.
Well-
No, we will move on with our public hearing. So our VDOT 6-year plan.
Okay. As you know, annually, the board and VDOT take public comment on the state secondary 6-year plan prior to approval or consideration of approval. At your March 24 meeting, VDOT's residency administrator, Susan Hammond, who is present tonight, presented the board with the draft 2026 through 2031 6-year plan, and the board scheduled a public hearing for this evening. The draft plan has been duly advertised, and to date, we have received no public comments on that. And Ms. Hammond is here this evening to answer any questions or concerns the board might have, and your information, all the information was included in your board package.
Hammond?
Would you like me to go over this as I did at the work session, or do you feel like
I
all of
don't,
our questions were
unless
answered?
any of you feel otherwise, I don't think that's necessary.
I did get one question at the work session about the traffic volume on Hops Hill.
Okay.
And that just does now this year meet the threshold, but we can certainly have it on our list to consider for next year, since we have additional projects in there this year.
And of course, I work closely with Ms. Hammond on the running list that I share with the board from time to time. And again, if you ever get questions on those, be sure to give them to me, and I will put them on the list as something to consider in the upcoming session.
It's very helpful, and it's gratifying to go back and look and see how many we've actually scratched off
Yes,
that list.
yes, it is. May I ask on Jacob's ladder, I thought we scratched that. We have scratched that off. correct?
That is actually finished.
Exactly. I was just, let me ask a question.
It shows up on there, but it is.
There's a lot of work being done currently, though. That's what, or at least a lot of tree removal. Just wondered if you knew what was happening there.
Some of that could be routine maintenance.
Okay. Dead
'Cause-
trees hanging over the
yes,
road?
And
Okay.
we have had, well, I guess probably since February, early February, we have just continued to remove an excessive amount of brush and limbs, and we don't seem to be catching much of a break.
Okay.
So,
All right. Good. All right. If there, is that finished?
I
All
don't
right.
have anything else.
All
Unless
righty.
you all have questions.
Thank you. Then,
Question, I just had a comment. I again, and you provided the example for what I was going to say. I appreciate you continuing to look at the traffic volumes to get as far as we can with the suggestions that we already made.
Anything that doesn't meet the volume 1 year, we'll go back and revisit because we get new volumes published every year. So we go back and visit them and see if, we have had some that now meet the threshold that we can consider.
I think that is probably the reason I hear from constituents the most is their concern over the speed that people are driving on these small roads and just an accident on 251. And I understand that there's going to be a speed study there as well. Not on
I'm not sure if
251.
I've gotten a request on that unless it may have gone through someone else in my office,
Okay.
but I can certainly check on that for you.
But anyway, thank you for all your hard work and trying to keep the citizens safe here. If there are no other questions, then I will open the public hearing.
There is no one signed up at this time.
All right. Is there anyone out there that would like to?
No hands raised.
Okay, then I will close the public hearing. Okay, no questions or comments. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay.
Second.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel.
Yes.
Mr. Day.
Yes.
And I vote yes. We'll move on to Virginia Electric and Power Company. Mr. Sladen.
We have two public hearings associated with Virginia Electric and Power Company, of course, DBA Dominion Power. The first public hearing is associated with the rebuild project. Virginia Electric and Power Company, DBA Dominion Power, has made an application for a special exception permit to rebuild approximately 6.77 mile portion, a 6.77 mile portion of its 115 kV transmission line that is located on the southwest side of the southern intersection of Glasgow Highway and River Road, heading north and ending in the western limits of the city of Buena Vista. This project does include the rebuild of existing structures and new proposed structures. The proposed rebuild project is located in the agricultural and limited use, the A2 zoning district, the agricultural and general use district. And if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen and start off with just a general overview map here. And if needed, we can certainly bring up the GIS. Again, the proposed rebuild project is located in the agricultural and limited use A2 zoning district. That is the light green on the map. The agricultural and general uses district A2, that is the white on the map. And in the general residential R1 zoning district, that is some yellow towards the city of Buena Vista. You may see also that it does cross a segment of this 6.77 mile project does cross the George Washington National Forest. I'll let the representatives of Dominion Power speak to that. Per section 603.07, excuse me, 602.03-7 of the regulations, public utilities are used by special exception in the A1 zoning district. Per section 603.03-9 of the regulations, public utilities are used by special exception in the A2 zoning district. And finally, per section 604.03-3 of the regulations, public utilities are used by special exception in the R1 zoning district. On April 9th, 2025, the Planning Commission held its public hearing and has recommended approval of the special exception permit with the following conditions. Number one, substantial compliance with the schematic plan. That would be considered the map board that's included in your package, titled Balcony Falls to Buena Vista Transmission Line number 26 Rebuild Phase 2. Number two, substantial compliance with the chart titled Table 1 Existing and Proposed Structure Types and Heights, with the allowance of a 10% variation in height structures for all structured referenced therein. No structure shall exceed 110 feet in height. All replaced and new structures shall be constructed with core 10 weathered steel that provides a patina finish. Cross arms associated with the proposed structure shall be constructed of galvanized steel, core 10 weathered steel that provide a patina finish. Number three, proposed structure types shall be constructed and as described in the table one, existing and proposed structure types and heights with allowance for modification to the proposed structure types for structures identified as 26/256 and 26/259. Number four, approval contingent on final VDOT and erosion and sediment controls if applicable. Number five, implementation of the project by November 1st, 2025, and project completion by January 1st, 2029, with up to a 4-month extension of the completion date upon written request by the applicant to the zoning administrator detailing the reasons for the expansion. I would like to point out there's one thing that the planning commission, that staff and planning commission failed to bring up. And this was associated with the previous approval in the floodway, which is our very next one, but may be applicable with this one. And that would be removal of unused concrete structures 36 inches below ground level. Just wanted to put that out there. Again, that was only associated with, as far as phase one, that was only associated with the floodway. With that, I'd like to turn the floor over to Miss Lane Carr, local permitting consultant with Virginia Dominion Power. Also would like to recognize Sarah Hansley, external affairs representative, and also John Perry, electrical transmissional construction consultant with Dominion Power. I think your cars, I'll leave the charge for starters. And Sarah Hackney, I apologize, I mispronounced that name.
Thank you, Chris.
I'm gonna stop sharing my screen.
Good evening. Nice to be here again. I feel like I've been here several times over the last few years. I recognize most all of you. Lane Carr with BEPCO Siting and Permitting Group. So after almost 100 years of service, this 115 kV line is reaching its end of service life. That's pretty common here in Rockbridge County. We know we've been present a lot over the last several years. In your application package, you have the structure comparison sheet that shows that we are replacing the lattice structures with the weathering steel H-frames. Those will complement the area and aesthetics of Rockbridge County. The proposed average height of the new structures is 75 feet. The existing and proposed heights are pretty much in line. We don't have a huge increase in the proposed height of the H-frame structures. As far as outreach to local landowners, we provided a postcard update a couple months ago, letting them know the schedule, when they can expect to see us starting construction, when they can see us present on their land. Part of that postcard included a link to what's called a backyard app, and it's accessible to anybody in the public. And you can access that link and it will show you structure by structure, the existing structure type, the existing height, the proposed structure type, and the proposed structure height. So a landowner can visualize where on their property these structures will be placed. We think it's a really great tool just to be able to answer any questions before people start seeing us around the area. We've gotten a few calls prior to this meeting, and we are in contact with some landowners about danger trees. They've inquired about that. A lot of folks have questions about access, and our team spends a good amount of time coordinating with the appropriate landowners before we show up on their property. As again, Chris does a pretty good job explaining the project, so I don't really have much more, but happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. All right. Are there any questions? Is that the end of the presentation?
That's all I have. Yeah,
Okay,
thank you.
then I will open the public hearing.
There's no one that signed up at this time.
Okay, anyone online?
No hands raised.
And I will close the public hearing. Any questions, comments?
Will all the existing frames be removed? I thought I saw in here that, is there some that will remain?
So you see on the table one, you're probably referring to, there are a couple structures that we proposed to keep in place After some further evaluation on phase one of the project, which is just about wrapping up, I was here a few months ago talking about that. We have determined that those two existing lattice structures that were proposed to remain will be replaced with weathering steel H-frame structures. We think it's best given the age. We thought that they'd be able to handle, we thought we'd be able to kind of lessen the amount of structures we would have to replace, but after further engineering evaluation, we've decided that we will go ahead and replace those with H-frame to match.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any others? All right, is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Lewis?
Aye.
Mr. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Day?
Yes.
And I vote yes.
Second one, the second public hearing we have pertains to the same rebuild project. I'll share my screen before I get started here. This one is associated with the properties that are in Zone AE hatched, commonly referred to as the floodway. Virginia Electric and Dominion Power, Virginia Electric Power Company, DBA Dominion Power, has made an application for a special exception permit to rebuild a portion of its 115 kV transmission line that is located within the flood hazard overlay district. Again, that is Zone AE hatched, the floodway, while the overall project, as previously reported, consists of approximately 6.77 miles. There are 3 existing structures that are proposed to be rebuilt and 1 proposed new double deadhead H-frame tower that is located in the floodway. The 2 portions, this shows the first portion of it. There are 2 portions of the rebuild that are within the floodway. The first one, as shown on the map here, is located on the southwest side of the southern intersection of Glasgow Highway and River Road. The second area, and that consists of 3 structures in the floodway at that location. The second portion, second area of the rebuild is located in the floodway. That is located in the floodway is on the north side of River Road, approximately 1.55 miles west of the northern intersection of Glasgow Highway and River Road. Per section 608.11-2, parentheses 2 of the regulations, public utilities and public facilities are used by special exception in Zone AE hatched, again, the floodway. On April 9th, 2025, the Planning Commission held its public hearing and has recommended approval of the special exception permit with the following conditions. Number 1, substantial compliance with the schematic plan with applicable structures, and those would include 26/279, 26/280, 26/281, and 26/251. Titled Balcony Falls to Buena Vista Transmission Line 26 Rebuild Phase 2. And that's on the map board, 4 pages. Number 2, substantial compliance with the applicable structures. Won't repeat what applicable structures they are. In the chart titled Table 1, existing and proposed structure types and heights, with the allowance of 10% variation in structure height for all structured reference thereon. No structure shall exceed 110 feet in height. All replaced and new structures shall be constructed of core 10 weathered steel that provide a patina finish. Cross arms associated with the proposed structures shall be construction of galvanized steel or core 10 weather steel that provide a patina finish. Number 3, proposed structure types with applicable structures shall be constructed as described in chart table titled Table 1, existing and proposed structure types and heights. Number 4, approval contingent on final VDOT and erosion and sediment control approvals, and that's of course is applicable. And final condition number 5, as recommended by the Planning Commission, is implementation of the project by November 1st, 2025, and project completion by January 1st, 2029. with up to a 4-month extension of the completion date upon a written request of the applicant to the zoning administrator detailing the reasons for the extension. Again, I'd like to, at this time, turn the floor over to Ms. Carr, local permitting consultant with Dominion Power.
Thank you, Chris. Story remains the same from my last presentation. I will add that those first 3 structures you saw in the floodway zone for this permit, we have successfully worked with that landowner and the farmer on that property during phase 1 of this project. So we've established a good working relationship, worked through a lot of issues for crop damage and access, and we're in a good place with those landowners, just in case anybody was curious about that. But other than that, again, Chris gave a good summary, so nothing to add, but happy to answer questions.
Okay. Thank you. All right, and I will, anything else you want to add before I open the public hearing? Okay, then I will open the public hearing.
There is no one that signed up to speak at this time.
Okay. Anyone online?
No online.
All right, and I will close the public hearing. Gentlemen, anything?
Make a motion to approve.
Daniel, is there a second?
Second.
Mr. McDaniel?
Yes.
Mr. Lyons?
Yes.
Mr. Day?
Yes.
Mr. Lewis?
Aye.
And I vote yes. Thank you. All right, we will move back to item 7. Consideration of Brightspeed broadband contract. Mr. Suter.
Yes, as you may recall, in your December 9 meeting, 2024, I provided the board with an update on broadband grants, including applications for both BARC and Brightspeed. The BARC agreement with the Virginia, and both of these agreements require, or both of these grants require an agreement with DHCD, the Department of Housing and Community Development, under which resides VADI, the Virginia Telecommunications Initiative, and the Office of Broadband. So the agreement with BARC was pretty straightforward and completed, and work has been underway. We've already held one public meeting out at the Moose Lodge for that's for Spring Valley and it's Buffalo Creek, that area, and there'll be one more over in the Mechanicsville area as well. When they move into that area, so they're making connections now. Let's see, we did not move forward with an agreement with the Brightspeed grant because it was more complicated. We had to rescope it due to the fact that, again, that there were 2 grants awarded in the same area. And so we had to back the DHCD and body portion out of the Brightspeed grant. And we did not get an agreement back from DHCD. They're the ones that create the draft agreement until about the middle of April. And it wasn't enough time for us to review and then get in front of you at your last meeting. It's the first time we can get it to you. So Brightspeed County staff and the Central Shenandoah Planning District Commission, who is helping manage these projects, we've reviewed the agreement and agree with figures and information contained, and that information is accurate and reflective of our commitments, of the board's prior commitments. The agreement is in your package for review, and should you approve, we would provide a signed copy to DHCD with the hopes that they would approve it this week. And as you may have noted in other parts of the county, Brightspeed has been doing some prep work and other work outside the grant award areas. And once the contract with DHCD is executed, they will begin work connecting customers. And I have tentatively asked, subject to Chair Ayers' approval, Brightspeed's Chris Dillon to come and provide the board with an update on their work at your next meeting on May 27th. They've got a fairly large chunk in different places in the county, and I thought the board and the public would benefit from an update.
Yes, I would like that. Are there any other questions or comments from Mr. Suter? Is there a motion to approve this contract?
So move.
Second,
I'll second.
Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
Mr. Day, Mr. McDaniel,
Yes.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
And I vote yes. Monthly staff reports. Any?
Move, we accept them with
Okay.
appreciation.
Thank you.
Second.
Mr. Lewis.
Aye.
Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel.
Yes.
Mr. Day.
Yes.
And I vote yes. And there's no other board comments, or is there any other unfinished business? Not.
I believe, Madam Chair, for our next meeting, I know at least the county school systems will be getting out, and I'd like to extend congratulations to the seniors at Rockbridge County High School and wish them well in their next endeavors, whatever that may be. And thank all of our teachers and everybody for what I have heard through our meetings with school systems. It's been a very successful year. So,
Thank you. Is there anything else?
May I also add our meeting dates? There was previously on the schedule a joint meeting with the school division, school board for this upcoming Thursday. Through mutual discussion, we determined that we're going to push that off a month or so. I believe it's June the 5th was ribbon cutting at 10 o'clock at the Innovation Center. Speaking of good years. And one more thing, your next meeting, regular meeting would be Memorial Day, so it'll be the Tuesday after Memorial Day.
The 22nd.
22nd.
With that, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Mr. Lyons.
Yes.
Mr. McDaniel.
yes.